first-time buyer, Beach House will provide you with top-notch service to guide you through every step of the process. We make the real estate process fun and easy through effective marketing, strategic advertising, and always a client-focused experience. From single-family homes to full-scale developments, Beach House Sales Development has you covered. Check them out at beachhousesalesfl.com or give them a call at 850-919-3500.
Beach Pizza, formerly Marcy's Pizza, is back with more hours and more pizza. Beach Pizza has new owners and now open every day, 11 to 11. Pizza by the slice, whole pies, wings, pretzels, garlic knots, and more choice eats in East PCB. I finally tried a slice, and it was a thin crust, totes, cheesy slice of paradise. 8815 B Thomas Drive, online at beachpizzapcb.com. Call ahead, 850-775-4053.
Panama City, are you ready for March Madness and the best crawfish in town? Head to Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. Watch 4 games at once, all tournament long, on the largest TV in Panama City. Wear your team gear and score big. Buy a drink, make a basket, win a free drink. Plus, unbeatable specials. 3 pounds of crawfish with corn and potatoes, just $25. Buckets of beer, $12.50. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Scorpion TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks, or watch thousands of movies on demand, all for just $45 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Scorpion TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Scorpion TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Scorpion TV logo. Don't forget our promo code ESPNNW.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios. It's the It's the next evolution of Star Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
the Inside Drive. From college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Friday morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside with Coach Brian Haddad, the Golf Plus Studios. Check out Golf Plus down there in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza, and of course up there on Montgomery Highway in Dothan off of 231. It is that time of year. The weather is getting nice. The pollen is insane, so you know it's that time of year for golf. So if you're looking for some new equipment, looking to get tuned up with your equipment, go check out Golf Plus, as they've got all the regripping, fitting services that you could ever want. Again, we appreciate Golf Plus for being our new studio sponsor. David Hayes, I appreciate if you put that back on. It's kind of doing a glare right here in the studio. But good looking hat there that you got from old Max Delighted.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you for you obviously being on the right side of that bet.
He picked the Yankees, I picked the Dodgers in the World Series, and so we just we got the bet paid up right before the new baseball season starts.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just just in time. But a lot of wild stuff to recap today from yesterday's sports world. I also want to talk about a little bit about the Junior Olympics yesterday, and I'm going to go on a small little rant because I feel like UA. I've been to it was probably my 6th Junior Olympics, and UA was always in the small elementary school. Well, this year I didn't know why we found ourselves in the large elementary school division, and they actually did pretty good. Basically, our entire Dynasty flag football team made the Junior Olympics. Okay. Miles Fish, Taggart Fish, Dawson Darcy, Asher Jostin, Liam Mulvey, John Andrew Bland, and then Luke McCord also made it for Holy Nativity, but they were actually on the small day, which was the day before yesterday. So come to find out, and found out from obviously our coach and our principal over there at UA that they took our entire enrollment from K through 8 instead of just your elementary enrollment. So don't know how that happens, but hopefully it'll be corrected for years going forward. So
the same way 6th graders can compete for high school teams in certain cases.
Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely. Absolutely. But, we held our own. We finished in 4th place, so that's not too bad when you're going against, schools that are double your size as far as the enrollment. But, hey, that's neither here nor there, but I just wanted to, with my opportunity to talk about University Academy all the time here on the Inside Drive.
There you go.
Wanted to mention that this morning. If you were locked in to the NCAA tournament last night, or like you, Brian, locked into the opening day of baseball, you might have missed this particular wild finish to an NBA game. 12 seconds, 9 total points. 9.8 seconds left in the game. Patrick Williams hits a three-pointer to go down 115 to 113 to the Lakers. LeBron then is the one inbounding the pass, turns it over on the inbound pass. The gentleman that got it kicked it back out to Colby White. He hits a three with 6.1 seconds.
I think it was Diddy that actually got that.
It was, yes. And so they went up 116 to 115. I think twice everybody thought it was over. Once when it was 115 to 110. The second time when the Bulls went up by a point, 116-115. Not so fast, my friends, as they would say. Austin Reeves got an inbound on the other side of the court and took it all the way in and hit a layup to go up 117-116. Lakers think they're going to win again. Again, not so fast. With 1.2 seconds left, Josh Giddey gets the ball at half court, shoots it up, goes in. Bulls win 119-117. I can't think, and I watched it a few times this morning. I didn't watch it live, obviously, but watched it a few times, and I can't think of a crazier ending to a basketball game, college or NBA, than what transpired last night. And it was kind of cool because the Bulls are obviously fighting, trying to get a spot there, but the crowd went absolutely nuts. But that just goes to show you, it's never over until it's over.
That's right.
Or that old lady sings, and but they're not usually.
Is that what we've changed it to? No.
I was going to say the old fat lady. She doesn't have to be old though, but I was more like the old adage.
Yeah, gotcha.
But
there's a nice little combo there.
Yeah, Ryan didn't want to fat shame the lady for singing, So
there was probably somebody.
We just made her old.
Yeah, there you go. Now I'm got some ages.
There you go.
As well. So not off to a good start here today on the Inside Drive, but let's talk. Actually, Brian, I'll ask you this question first before we dive into some of these Sweet 16 games. You said you were dialed into opening day yesterday.
God.
What were your thoughts on opening day? I know you were really kind of watching one of the games there with the Yankees playing.
Yeah, I got to see nearly every pitch of the Yankees game, which is good because usually I'm not able to watch much, but gorgeous day for baseball across most of the country. Yankee Stadium looked great. Austin Wells leads off the game. This is something I couldn't imagine. Think about how old the Yankees franchise is.
Yeah.
Baseball in general.
Right. First time in history a Yankees player hits a leadoff home run on opening day.
In history?
In history.
Wow.
And I mean, they had Ricky Henderson, who God knows how many games he let off. But,
absolutely.
But Austin Wells leads off the game with a home run. Yankees take a 4-1 lead. They bring in their new prize, Devin Williams, and he proceeds to give me 6 heart attacks and almost blow the save, but Yankees get the win. But there's a lot of great stories around. I mean, the White Sox dropping a hammer on the Angels after they're expected to have one of the worst seasons in history after having the worst season in history.
Yeah, I guess they're on the up and up.
Adley Rutschman, 2 home runs yesterday. There'd been a lot of talk in the offseason about, this kid Basallo coming up. Is he going to replace Adley, maybe move Adley to DH, something? Adley stamped down his statement there to start the season. The Orioles won big. Ozzie went yard yesterday for the Braves. Shohei hit another one for the Dodgers. They just win again.
Yep.
It was a great opening day of baseball. I thought there were some good stories. Skeens had 7 Ks through 5 1/3.
Dodgers or the field?
Well, you got to, excuse me, as a gambler, you got to take the field.
Right? More, you would
Although
think.
I'd like to see the numbers, but yeah. No, you got to take the field. But no, the Dodgers have to be. If you're picking a team, they've got to be easy odds on the favorite.
Yeah, I think they're, plus 225 or something like that.
Great opening day of baseball, though. A lot of great stories, and there's so many good young players in the game right now. I'm telling you, it's going to be a fun season this year, I really think.
Absolutely. I got to give a shout-out to my good friend Ian. Shot me over a little betting tip yesterday. Tyler O'Neill, on opening day 2020, he hit a home run. 2021, he hit a home run. 22, he hit a home run. 3, he hit a home run. 24, he hit a home run. Guess what he did yesterday?
He did.
He hit another home run.
Extends his record.
Appreciate that tip there, Ian. Obviously, it was a kind of I should have added it to the Fantasy Six-Pack Best Bets. But
just to play in 6 straight opening days is impressive these days.
Let alone hit a homer in every one of them. But cool stuff for him. And, of course, Atlanta Braves got off to a tough start there. They got up to
the start was nice.
Yeah, the start was great. Well, the start of the season anyway, yeah. The Braves got up to a 4-3 lead going into the 5th inning, and then the 7th inning came. And kind of one of the topics for the Braves is the bullpen going to be able to get it done. And obviously the save was certainly blown, and it looks like it was...
like I said, they got off to a good start.
Yeah, great start. Hector Neris.
Oh, that's who it was, Neris, because I remember last night at Chick-fil-A I said bummer because you... It was Hector Neris.
Yes, Hector Neris. He pitched in just 3 Major League spring training games after signing a minor league deal on March 3rd. Still, he was determined to be the best option in this high-leverage situation that proved certainly destructive for the Braves, as the Padres did have that 4-run bottom of the 7th inning, and then the Braves couldn't get anything going the rest of the way and opened their season up with a loss. So hopefully that bullpen, I know, was kind of a concern or a talking point going into the season, but yeah. So hopefully the Braves can even the series up tonight, or is it this afternoon?
It'll be later on this evening.
That's right.
West Coast,
That's right.
yeah. So we won't be airing the next 2 games for the Braves, and then we'll get back to them. They got the Dodgers coming up Monday. So West Coast swing to start the year. Hey, I'd rather start the year off on the West Coast and then move on in that direction. Austin Wells as well, first catcher ever to hit a leadoff home run in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, the Yankees lineup was interesting. You're leading off with a catcher. Judge is hitting second.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a weird lineup, but it worked out.
Absolutely, yeah. Kind of wild that same thing with a first ever leadoff. You would think a catcher would have hit a leadoff home run, but I guess catchers don't lead off very
especially
often.
I would say back in the day, and I'm sure that Coach Brian Haddad would be able to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but it used to be, especially National League, your pitcher would be hitting 9th, and a lot of the times the catcher was in the 8 slot, 7 or 8
in
slot.
almost every case, it seemed like that, either hitting in the 7 or the 8 hole for sure, but just the fact that it's the first Yankee to do it is what I can't get over. It's just
and that's
amazing.
any position, though, for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I wonder how many actual numbers that is, like how many out of, like you said, 100-year plus.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have started in the teens, I guess. I guess they were the Highlanders before the Yankees, and then, of course, bought Babe Ruth, and the rest was history.
Absolutely. Bought him over there from the Red Sox.
Funded a Broadway show.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. All right, let's talk about some men's hoops, as we had 4 Sweet 16 games transpire yesterday, and all the favorites won in those games, but the 2 nightcap games, because I lost one early, and then I took the points in both the nightcap games, and luckily the points was enough for BYU and Alabama, and then of course the overtime between Arkansas and Texas Tech. But Arkansas obviously certainly making a huge letting a huge comeback happen. I think all the Arkansas Razorbacks out there, especially around these parts, probably thought that they had that one locked up. But Texas Tech wasn't done, and they came back from quite a deficit. But as I was talking about, Duke edged out Arizona despite Caleb Love's 35 points, Cooper Flagg went for 30 and a 100-93 victory there for the Duke Blue Devils. I was really kind of, I'm not anti-Duke. I know a lot of people are, especially if you're Kansas or North Carolina fans, but I was just wanting one of these powerhouse teams to get knocked out of the tournament to maybe make, obviously they have to win tonight, but make Auburn's route a little easier getting to it. But that is not the case. And then Florida just had an absolute great second half there against the Terps, and they look pretty darn good again. And I just Florida looks like the team to beat to me. I don't know if Florida or Duke, if they played against each other, it'd probably be a fantastic game. I think I would still probably give the edge to Florida just because of how well they're playing right now. But getting back to that Alabama-BYU game, 113-88. Alabama just continues to score so many points, but when you have 75 points worth of three-pointers, I think you can probably beat any team, anytime, anywhere. Breaking the NCAA record of 21 by 4 three-pointers, and Mark Sears had 10 three-pointers.
And he had 34 points, which means he scored.
Yeah, well,
4
and
points on 2
I got another fun fact from that particular game. You've probably seen it already, but if Alabama, let's see, where is it? Okay, if Alabama had not made a single 2-point shot in that game, they still would have beaten BYU, which is pretty, and that's obviously free throws and three-pointers. But so they wouldn't have had to make a single regular field goal, and they still would have won the game, which is just absolutely nuts. But
it looks great when it works.
Yeah.
But then when it doesn't, I mean,
it's a dangerous game, because if you're cold from behind the arc, you could lose. And that's kind of how Alabama's season went. Some of the games that they did lose, if they got cold from behind the arc, they kind of live or die by that three-pointer. So we'll see if they can keep that up throughout the rest of the tournament. But pretty impressive stuff there by Alabama. That was a hold on, how many years is that? 1990, so that's 35? Yeah, 35-year record. That was by Loyola Marymount, who had 21 against Michigan back in 1990.
And those guys did not believe in defense.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was run and gun, and they were fun to watch. But, I mean, that was 90. I think wasn't that the year Hank Gathers died earlier in the season, and then they went on that incredible run behind Bo Kimball, I think it was, and I know I'm talking to two young guys here. So.
I like to learn.
Yeah, there you go.
The more you talk about
it, actually, Hank Gathers, tremendous player. It was really tragic. He died on the court, actually. It was a free throw thing, and he just had a heart condition. But they rallied, and actually Alabama gave them their toughest game in that tournament, held them into the 60s, but lost by 2. But they would score 130, 140 points a game.
Every game.
It was amazing.
Just run and gun constantly.
Yeah.
Interesting. But and Alabama broke that record with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game with their 22nd three-pointer at that time. So Alabama obviously dominated in that one. And then, of course, we got to talk about the Arkansas had just a epic collapse, and kind of surprising with Calipari at the helm. But I think they were up by, 16 at one point?
They were up 10 with like 3:56 to go, and just brutal.
Again, why it's never over until it is over. And obviously, Red Raiders forward Darian Williams hit both the game-tying three-pointer in regulation, which sent it to overtime, and then had a go-ahead layup with 7 seconds left in overtime that ended up being the final winning basket there in the 85-83 overtime victory for the Red Raiders. So, although a fantastic season, I think Arkansas, overachieved what they probably expected to do, especially in the tournament. They got all the way to the Sweet 16, but Texas Tech, who can just seem to kind of turn on the offense when they want to, did pretty darn well. So we've got Duke and Alabama will face each other in the Elite Eight, and obviously we've got several more games to finish up tonight. And then with Florida kind of never looking back against Maryland, Maryland just got completely out-rebounded by Florida. I had a chance to watch a good bit of that game, and Florida, if you don't out-rebound against Florida, you're going to be in some big trouble, and Maryland found out what that was all about. But now Florida will take on 3-seed Texas Tech in the Elite Eight, and then obviously we'll have the 2 other ones coming up. We have 4 more games coming up. All those games right here on ESPN Florida, Northwest Florida.
Yeah, we'll have coverage starting right after the afternoon underdogs tonight at 6 p.m., and you'll have your 2 feature games, the 6:09 game and the 6:39 game. I don't know exactly. But Auburn's the late game, right?
Yes,
Auburn, Houston, and Purdue are the late games, and then you've got Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yeah, we start with Michigan State and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's at 6:09, and then followed by Tennessee and Kentucky, and Auburn and Michigan at 8:39, and then Houston and Purdue at 9:09, all here in the Central Time Zone. You can listen to it right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, I'm going to dive into our leaderboard right now, as there's been some shifting that has happened on the ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge based on the games last night. So let me get to that. I had it up, and then, of course, I clicked off it. Leaderboard. And then I want to talk about some of these celebrity brackets as well. But right now, let's see. I'm not doing a good job navigating here, Brian. Groups, Fantasy 6, ESPN. I got too many groups. That's the issue.
There you go.
That's the issue. All right. Afros and Elbows is now in first with 680 points, and that is solo alone. But their max is 1760, so we still got... that's, in my opinion, what you got to look at when you're kind of trying to predict who's going to win the tournament. So Ken McVeigh, who is at he's at 670, but has a max of 1790. And then, of course, Coach Olds sliding up there a little bit. He's got 650 points, but a max of 730. He's got Auburn winning the national championship. And then Best GM 91 also has 650 points.
The Dalton Cope.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And then ATM McCord, that's one of Howdy's friends from up there in Hartselle, Alabama. He's got 650. And then David Hayes. What games did you have somebody upsetting somebody last night? If you even know. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Mine, so.
I can look it up, though.
It's not that big of a deal. But you're now tied for third with a max of 1770. So it sounds like, and you've got Florida. You got to look at your national
I don't think I had, in this main bracket, I don't think I had Bama going past the Sweet 16. Gotcha. I think I had them fall into Wisconsin, actually.
Alabama's third trip in the last 3 years, which is a school record to the Elite Eight?
Third Sweet 16 appearance in a row. Second Elite Eight, first time in program history.
That's right, because they made it to the Final Four last year. And likely, they're going to have to go past another juggernaut to get there. But obviously, cool to see the ESPN Northwest Florida leaderboard and looking pretty good. Let's see the select.
Oh, no, I actually had Bama over BYU. I had that game.
So obviously something I
had Duke over Arizona. I've got Auburn, but I've got them over Texas A&M. I've got Michigan State to beat Auburn tonight. I had that in the Elite Eight. I have Auburn over Texas A&M. Then I've got Michigan State over Ole Miss. So I mean, I don't really know what I missed.
Maybe
out
the brackets ahead of you had picks that were correct. I'm trying to decipher it while I'm looking at all this, which is pretty challenging. Yeah, they got the...
Well, if anyone had Texas Tech going into the Elite Eight, that's definitely a huge jump for him as well.
That's what the Afros and Elbows gentleman had. He had Texas Tech beating Arkansas and moving on to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, because when you get to this round, it's not, first round's 10 points, then you go 20 points, then 40,
Yeah, so he got the Florida and Texas Tech in the Elite Eight picks right, so kudos to that. And, we'll see how it all strikes out. But, hey, that's what makes this stuff so fun. I want to see if I can look at the celebrity leaderboard real quick. Stephen A. Smith is that's not the leader. Looks like Dick Vitale is...
Stephen A. Smith, number 1. LeBron James, number 2. After this, they will have a thumb war.
That's right. What a strange pissing match from those two gentlemen. I don't know if that's what we needed in sports right now, but it's certainly being talked about.
It's what we got.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Crazy times. All right, why would they not put the celebrity leaderboard in order? That doesn't make any sense to me. But, because Stephen A. Smith is not near the top. Let's see.
They just, they put them in order of celebrity.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, Seth Greenberg is currently leading the celebrity side of things with 710 points and in the 99.9th percentile. And then you have Ryan Smith, Mike Clay, Courtney Cronin, who I think is a soccer analyst, if I'm
No, NFL.
NFL. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There you go. And then it goes on from there. But we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about March Madness, previewing some of the games coming up tonight. Brian Haddad in studio. David Hayes behind the glass. You're listening to The Inside Drive on ESPN Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your exclusive home for March Madness.
And it goes for the win!
We'll bring you every game live. It's the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, college basketball's premier event, and it's all right here.
And the dream is alive!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, some sun and a high of 75 with a moderate breeze around 15 miles per hour out of the south-southeast. Tonight, mostly clouds with lows around 67. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 75. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 74 and mostly cloudy and lightly sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
Now back to the Inside Drive. Live and local from the Gulf Plus Studios. Join the best of a winning Inside Drive with all your lines, props, and covers.
Winning
on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Breaking news. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coach Brian Haddad in studio. Coming up, our next segment, we'll be joined by Steve Burdishaw, who will be breaking down some of the middle school swimming action as we are in now track and swimming season when it comes to middle school sports. But looking forward to, obviously, we cover a lot of middle school sports here on the Inside Drive, in addition to our high school sports as well. But anxious to hear him and Coach Brian Haddad talk some middle school swimming and learn about how that is all kind of going on. All right, getting back to some NCAA action, looking at the Elite Eight matchups that will transpire tomorrow. Number 3 seed Texas Tech versus number 1 seed Florida. Currently, Florida is a 6.5-point favorite in that one. Brian, what do you like in that particular game with that line?
Oh, give me that line again.
6.5 Texas Tech is getting from Florida.
I kind of like Florida in that they're pretty good about just kind of controlling possession and kind of wearing you down. And I could see this being a semi-tight game through about 5 minutes into the second half. And then Florida just kind of inching away.
Kind of like all these other games.
Yeah, win by like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like this crazy blowout, but they're going to be in control the entire game.
Yeah. What do you think, David?
I'm right there with Coach Haddad. I think I like Florida to cover the 6.5.
Yeah,
yeah. But they're my champion anyways, and beyond that, I think they're really good. And again, they took care of business against a pretty dang good Maryland team without Condon in for a long time last night as well. And Walter Clayton Jr. is one of the best players on the court when he's on the court.
When he's on the court, no doubt. Over under 156.5. That kind of seems like a big number to me.
It felt like everything was over last night, right?
Yeah.
The only game that had a chance of being under was Arkansas and Texas Tech. I don't know what that final number was, but I mean, Duke in Arizona, Alabama, BYU. Alabama, BYU, like that game was over by daggum halftime, felt like.
Yeah. I mean, if you would have parlayed the over and Alabama's over and put a whole bunch of money on it, now if looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. But yeah, that was the overs have been aplenty, and really it's kind of been more unders leading up until those matchups. But now you're starting to get some more of these heavyweight matchups. Looking at the other game, Alabama and Duke. Duke is -7 in this one. Alabama getting 7 points. If they can shoot the threes, I kind of like the Alabama with the points. Now, can they continue that? What's nice is they're playing one game and then another game. So you got back-to-back, so they should still have all that fresh in the mind. What do you guys think?
Alabama's one of those teams that, they could win by 20 and lose by 20. They don't seem to be a consistent, thing. So I can understand the line being like that because Alabama is so Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
But when they're on, I'm not sure there's anybody in the country that can beat them. So
it's not if they do what they did last night.
No, it's one of those weird teams. I can see the line being that high. I'd be tempted to take Alabama with that many points. That's why I think it's as high as it is, because I think Vegas is trying to get some Bama bets.
Yeah.
Duke's going to get the type of money that Alabama gets in football.
Yep.
They'll overbet the name.
Yeah.
And so I think they're just trying to get some Alabama money to balance out the line a little.
Yeah, makes sense.
I love that take, by the way. I think that's absolutely sensible. As always with Coach Brian Haddad. How cool would that be for Alabama fans, though? Last year you beat North Carolina to go to the Final Four, and then this year you had the opportunity to beat Duke, two of the biggest names in college basketball. And, it's kind of just getting started over there for Coach Oates, provided he stays.
He might be a hot commodity again, given his track record in the last 3 years for the Crimson Tide.
And then can't beat Vandy in football.
Hey, Vandy was on the up and up this year.
What a year.
Yeah,
what a year.
Yeah, it's the reality of the world we live in now with college sports. That's for sure. All right, 173.5 is your total in that one, which makes sense because these teams score a lot of points. Now, is one of these teams' defense going to slow down one of the other team? I guess that's the $1 million question.
I imagine this is going to be another track meet. I really do. I think Duke enjoys the challenge that Alabama can bring to them, and they're going to go out and try and get up and down the court with them. Now, you could say that's playing into Alabama's hands, maybe, but I could see Duke just coming out and just going punch for punch with them and it being a game like that. Now, maybe it settles in after halftime, and, Duke should, technically be a little better half-court kind of team, but I very much could see this being a fun and gun game, at least for the first 10 minutes or so. So watch out. The over might actually hit in this game.
Well, what I really like in this game is if you go to the team's total points, probably staying away from Duke at 90.5, but Alabama at 83.5. That's one of those.
They were so bad in the first game or two.
Yeah. But I mean, if you just look at how many points they scored this year, I don't know. Some of these always kind of pop out, and when you think it looks so good, it ends up not being. But 83.5 kind of seems like a low number for Alabama's total points in a game that will likely be a run and gun shootout. So I think I kind of like that one.
I like the over. I like Alabama's over right there. Maybe a little low on the or half Duke. I mean, shoot, we could have both teams.
It could be an NBA score. Yeah,
absolutely. And then another thing that I'm really interested in, it was when I was listening to the Dan Patrick Show on the way in today, Grant Nelson versus Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun matchup to watch, man.
Absolutely. And you got Knipple in there, and you got the, what's the, Meshack?
The K is silent in that one.
It's not. I've heard him say it too many times. But Meshack's on Tennessee, and who's that freshman stud for Alabama?
Oh,
like he's getting a lot of NBA attention. I should have known this off the top of my head, but I can't. I'm just drawing a huge blank right now.
Because it's not Aiden Holloway.
No,
Holloway's the transfer.
He came from Auburn.
Yeah, they had a cool call on that on the radio last night. Like, why would you want to do that? Type deal,
Well, so far so good.
They're both the freshman stand.
Yeah, I'm gonna search it up real quick. Alabama basketball
I don't know. I've been Phylon.
Phylon, that's who I'm talking about.
I didn't even know if he was a freshman or not. These days, it's almost like kind of pointless to pay attention to.
Yeah, he is a freshman. He is a freshman.
As soon as you learn their names, they leave.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to stay connected with them.
Him and Stevenson, man, I really like the way that they play ball. I mean, really, across the board, you got Duke and Alabama. You got everyone here in the Sweet 16. They've all got players that you're like, yeah, he's pretty daggone good.
That's why they're there. That's for darn sure. But at the same time, you start talking about how good these teams are and how the matchups are. You could also see it being a little bit of a stalemate. Yeah, that's a fun fact.
I'm looking at this stat. Alabama took 66 shots. 51 of them were threes.
That's insanity.
Wow.
So they were about
like with 7 minutes left in the second half. I feel like it was there was a 10 different shot discrepancy between 2-point field goals and 3-point field goals. So it pretty much maintained there the rest of the evening.
Just below 50%. Just below 50%.
97 points scored with like 7 minutes left to go.
It's like watching an NBA All-Star game.
Yeah,
except with 3-pointers and not dunks. Oh, all right. Let's talk about some of the games coming up tonight. Again, they'll all be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, starting with number 2 seed Michigan State versus number 6 seed Ole Miss. And again, that's at 6:09, right after the afternoon underdogs, followed by Tennessee and Kentucky. So 1 Big Ten and 3 SEC teams in those two matchups. That one's at 6:39 p.m., followed by the nightcap games, 8:39 p.m., number 1 seed Auburn versus number 5 seed Michigan. And then last but not least, number 1 seed Houston versus number 4 seed Purdue. And we'll see how we shape out. Let's look at some lines. And when I'm always doing lines, I'm always using it off of Hard Rock, because if you guys bet legally here in Florida, of course there's a gambling hotline if you need it, but if you bet here in Florida, the only way you can do that legally is through the Hard Rock Bets application. All right, we'll start in order of games. That means we've got Ole Miss and Michigan State. Michigan State a 3.5-point favorite over Ole Miss. What do you guys like in that line?
I
think this is going to be probably one of the better games of
I would
the 4.
think so. I mean, I'm duty bound not to ever pick Ole Miss for anything, but
understandable.
They've been playing great basketball, and they have nothing to lose in a game like this.
That's some of the most dangerous teams when you get to this point.
And look, this game's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a huge contingent of Ole Miss fans there. But Michigan State's pretty seasoned. Obviously, Izzo's, storied coach. And I think it's going to be one of those games that's really close until about the last 8 minutes. And then I can just see Michigan State kind of pulling away.
Gotcha.
I'd even say they cover, but this is going to be a hard-fought win for Michigan State.
Yeah, it should be a great basketball game. So you like Michigan State covering the 3.5?
I do. I think they win by 5 or 6 here.
Gotcha. David Hayes, what about you?
Yeah, initially I was going to say I like Ole Miss with the points, but Michigan State to win. But I
such
think
a
Michigan
small
State
number, yeah.
Exactly. I think Michigan State gets it done at the foul line to end the game. So I'll take Michigan State to cover the 3.5 and obviously win outright.
Yeah. All right. Over under 145 and at 145, not even a half.
Yeah, there's no half here.
Nope. Don't see that very often.
I'd be honest, I'd probably take the under here. I could see this being a pretty physical, kind of scrappy game that, like I said, it's back and forth, but I would lean under in this game.
I was about to say 70-67. I was like, well, that would shoot myself in the foot for the 3.5 right there. So let's go 72-67.
There you go, or 70-65. Yeah. We'll see how it all shakes out. But, I think I like Michigan State covering this one as well. I think at this point in the tournament, coaching matters for at least a couple points here and there, and I would certainly give that edge to Michigan State, and that's why I'm kind of where you are, David, that 70 number to a mid-lower 60 kind of number, because I agree with you, Coach Haddad, that it's going to be a physical, tough game, and a lot of these times, again, when we get to this point in the tournament, you could go 4, 5, 6 minutes with a very low scoring before teams really get settled in and feel out their opponent. So, I like the under paired with that as well. All right. A very familiar matchup that saw Kentucky win both of the regular season games against Tennessee, but in the Sweet 16 matchup, Tennessee is a 4.5-point favorite. Kentucky getting 4.5 in this one. What do you think, Coach?
I have Tennessee in my Final Four, and, it's funny. I went to Mississippi State. I grew up an Alabama fan, so I've got Ole Miss, I got Tennessee, and I got Auburn tonight. This is going to be a horrible night for me. But I like Tennessee in this game. The old adage is hard to beat a team 3 times this season. I don't know that it comes down to that. I just think Tennessee's playing pretty good basketball right now, and I think they're pretty seasoned. I just like the way that they're playing. I like Barnes. I just give them the edge here. Again, first-year coach at Kentucky.
Yep, Mark Pope.
A vastly turned-over roster. I think they did a good job to get here, and Big Blue Nation will be in Indy. There's no doubt of that. I just like Tennessee here. I'll go on and take Kentucky with the points, though.
Okay.
And say Kentucky gets this done by 1 or 2.
Gotcha. I like it.
Or Tennessee gets this done by 1 or 2.
Yep, and Kentucky covers with the 4.5. All right, over under 144.5. So very, very close to the Ole Miss Michigan State game. And obviously that's kind of for a reason. This could be a shootout or it could be a highly defensive matchup as well.
I'm going to, last night was a night of overs. I'm going to say tonight's the night of unders. I'll take the under here again.
All right. I like it. David Hayes, what do you think about the line and the over-under?
Hate to sound like a tape recorder, just press and rewind and play again. But, I have to agree with Coach Haddad.
Follow me off that cliff, baby.
Well, I like Kentucky to kind of push it close late here. And, again, I'm stuck here, but I think that I'm going to go with the under as well because every game, like he just mentioned, every game went over last night, felt like anyways. The only one I don't know about is Arkansas, Texas Tech. With that being said, though, I think tonight we get a little bit more unders. If there's a game with a propensity to go over, though, it's this one right here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And the third time will be the charm for the Volunteers.
There you go. There you go. The Tennessee Orange. All right, we got 2 more. Obviously, number 5, Michigan taking on Auburn. Just a short trip down from the Plains up there in Atlanta, Georgia. Auburn an 8.5-point favorite in this one. Michigan getting 8.5 over under 154.5. I think Auburn wins. I think Michigan pushes them close enough to the end of the game, even though Auburn still covered their round of 32 game against who they play in that one?
Who was it?
Auburn in the second round. Because they ended up covering
too.
I guess I have a bracket right in front of me.
Oh God,
Creighton.
Right.
They ended up covering the 9.5, but it was late in the game, and I think Michigan probably keeps it a little bit close. And kind of like you guys have been saying, Auburn just has the depth to pull away a little bit at the end. Hopefully, they can take care of the 2 7-footers for the Michigan Wolverines, and then the over/under at 154.5. I'm probably going to take the under on that one as well. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think Auburn actually controls this game pretty much from start to finish. I could see this being one where Michigan gets some cheap points late.
Yeah.
And that's how this ends up being a 7 or an 8-point victory for Auburn. I'd never liked lines in the 8.5, 12.5 range. Something about it just always gets my hair up on the back of my neck, and I don't trust it. So give me Michigan to cover, but I think Auburn controls the game and wins easily. And I agree, this is another game I like the under.
Yeah, there you go. David Hayes?
There's no point in asking me anything. Whatever. No, I'm joking because the same way. Michigan, 8.5. I like Auburn to win the game. I don't know about controlling as much. Maybe they control it later, which could help them end up covering the 8.5. But I like Michigan to battle back, or not to battle back, but to kind of be with neck and neck with Auburn.
And Auburn
and then they separate themselves, but not quite 9 points. And then I like the under, man.
Yeah.
And now the more that we talk about it, the more dangerous it feels just to go under. We ain't playing limbo tonight, are we?
That's right. All right, last but not least, we'll see if this would be a tough one for you guys to take the under on, but we'll take a look at it. Number 1, Houston versus number 4, Purdue. Houston minus 8.5 in this one as well. Again, that's the 9:09 game right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's interesting looking at this. You can tell where the power in college sports is. 3 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams, and then Houston. I think Houston wins here. I hate 8.5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Purdue to cover, but this is going to be the one game I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
132.5 is too low.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm going to take Houston I'm going to take Houston to win, but not cover. So give me Purdue in the points and the over.
All right, absolutely.
Ding, 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 ding. I like Purdue in this game, not to win though, but to keep it very, very close. But you know what? To change it up, Houston covers.
Okay.
Houston wins, and we go over.
Yeah. I just bet the over while we were talking about it because that just seems too low.
Just for my credibility here as a Mississippi State and Alabama guy, I did bet against Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Auburn, even though I think 2 of the 3 will win. So my money is where my heart is.
It's the hedge. It's the hedge, right? All right, we got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we'll be joined by Steve Burdishaw to talk some middle school swimming action. You guys listen to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back.
Swing and a drive. That's hammered deep right. He jumped on one and hits a homer.
We're your exclusive radio home for the Atlanta Braves.
At the wall. It is gone. A grand slam for Acuna.
Hear every exciting home run, every strikeout, and every thrilling victory on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Panama City, are you ready for March Madness and the best crawfish in town? Head to Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. Watch 4 games at once, all tournament long, on the largest TV in Panama City. Wear your team gear and score big. Buy a drink, make a basket, win a free drink. Plus, unbeatable specials. 3 pounds of crawfish with corn and potatoes, just $25. Buckets of beer, $12.50. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Klinger, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you. Serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
Stowe Bros Self-Storage, offering convenient, clean, and affordable storage for all your needs. Secure your items hassle-free with excellent customer service. Simply go to www.stowebros.com now to reserve your unit today or call us at 850-250-4414. That's 850-250-4414. Stowe Bros Self-Storage at 2726 East 15th Street for local service that can't be beat. Give us a call or rent storage online today at stowebros.com.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. This is not for the casual fan. This is for the warriors. This is for the legends.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Check out our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do is search up 104.3 and it'll pop up right there for you. Excited to welcome. I know he just spent some time on the Coach James Hale show, but excited. We talk a lot of middle school sports here on The Inside Drive. You know, given I'm so involved with some of the middle school sports, it just kind of comes naturally. But excited to hear about some middle school swimming action. And we have Steve Burdishaw in the studio with us today. Steve, how you doing?
Doing great.
Excellent, excellent. Brian, I'm going to kind of let you guys, this is y'all's wheelhouse, so I'm going to kind of let you guys.
This is Steve's worst nightmare then, because, no, I'm just kidding. But, no, absolutely. I mean, I've known Steve for a very long time. Steve been involved in swimming in this area for longer than he cares to admit or remember, probably. But,
yes.
But, you know, one of the biggest things, Steve obviously having been the coach at Mosley High School for many, many years, and you know, one of the things that helps support a good high school program is a middle school program. And, you know, just talk about maybe some of the history of middle school swimming in this area. It used to be a county sport and then kind of wasn't, and how that's played out over the years.
Well, yeah. So it became I think it was 2008, the county picked it up as a sport. And shortly after that, I started, you know, running the program for the county, for the district.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, but it went on for 4 or 5 years, and then they cut swimming and wrestling, and I think maybe one other sport from the middle school. And when they did that, so we kept running the program at that time through the Red Cross, and then later on through a corporation that I formed. And then later on after that, we brought it into the Panama City swim team.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where Steve and I know each other. Obviously, I used to coach there, and Steve worked with us there at Panama City Swim Team, still coaches for the Panama City Swim Team now as well. And you're right, we did bring it kind of under the Panama City Swim Team banner because, a lot of the parents were the same parents, and a lot of the swimmers were similar, and we had the resources to help because it was quite a daunting task you took on in keeping this thing going by yourself.
Well, yes and no. I mean, from the beginning, even when it was a district program, the bottom line was the Panama City Swim Team parents and coaches ran the program. They were the officials. They were the starters, the timers, everything we needed to make a swim meet happen. So, yes, we got coaches on the deck to coach the kids, but at the end of the day, Panama City Swim Team was the ones that were making it all happen.
Well, and one of the things that I want people, we're obviously going to talk about how you can get your child involved with that because that's what we're really looking to do is build this up. But so at one point, this program was up to about 150 swimmers.
Yeah, before the hurricane, we were up to 150.
And that's where I was going. So Michael hits, obviously it disrupts all the facilities. Frank Brown, not as much because obviously the beach didn't suffer as much, but the Mosley pool was down for almost a full year. The Gulf Coast State College pool was down for a year. So that cost us a year of middle school swimming.
Yep.
Just get back on our feet. I hate reliving this, by the way. I know you do too. And then this little pandemic comes around and costs us another year. And we basically lost an entire middle school group of children, their entire middle school.
Right.
There wasn't really any swimming going on in town for them.
Basically, we started over after COVID and, been struggling to get the word out. But it's real simple. You type in Panama City Swim Team on a Google search, and on the home page, there's a middle school swimming button. You go in there and you register, and we start practice next week. We'll be running practices Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at Frank Brown from 5 to 6, and Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at the Mosley Pool from 5:30 to 6:30. We got a lot of high school kids helping. We got some good coaches on the deck, and our mission statement is introduction to competitive swimming.
Right.
So if you can swim, but you're like, oh, I don't know how to do the flip turns or the strokes. Well, that's what middle school swimming's about. We're going to teach you how to do all those things.
Yeah, and I think that's so important to note because so many people hear how swimming can be difficult, and it can, like anything else you're trying to perfect. But they think, oh, well, I'm not a good enough swimmer to go out. Well, that's what this program is for. Right. This is the introduction to competitive swimming. And so many people have come into it having, they can, dog paddle, as you say, but, they've never really competed or anything, and they've ended up becoming a swimmer for life out of the deal.
Yeah, and, the success that we've had, Mosley's had a couple of runner-up at state titles and some state champions. Arnold has had a couple of runner-up, and all those kids that were on those teams that were strong state teams came out of our middle school program.
That's right.
Even Michael Duderstadt, who went on to Auburn and was a three-time SEC champion. He came out of our middle school program.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And there, I could go on and on naming names of really fast swimmers that came out of that program. So
yeah, no, absolutely right. And it's it's one of those things that if you're listening now and you're like, my child's looking for a sport to get into, we're talking. It's like a 6-week program here,
correct?
3 times a week. Like I say, if you live in town, you don't have to worry about beating that traffic out to Frank Brown. You have the Mosley Pool option.
Correct.
So once again, you're thinking about, how do I get my, child involved in this? You say it's just as easy as Googling Panama City Swim Team?
That's it. Coach Scott has got the button active there. You hit that button and it takes you right to the registration.
Yeah.
And you register up and then show up and we'll start working with you.
It sounds like a ton of fun there. I mean, and look, one of the other things I always found cool about this is, it's not a district program or anything like that. But
that was my question.
Man, when the kids, walk around with their chest out because they did something at a middle school meet, everybody in school's going to know it.
Yeah, we got we try to have the swim caps in their color of their school.
That's right.
And we should have some T-shirts for them, so they should have they can wear to school that says, middle school swimming and for their school. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know we did. I mean, we had it like that, obviously, with all the public schools. The charters were involved. Yeah. I know UA and Bayhaven used to have some great battles going at it like that. We had Covenant involved. We had, I think, Holy Nativity was involved.
I mean, when we were in our heyday, the biggest team out there was like Merritt Brown. And like here lately, we've only been getting 1 or 2 swimmers from them. And that's, I'm hoping we can get that to come back. Merritt Brown and Mowat, we had tons of swimmers from them. And
so how does the competition work because it's just all kids in the program, right? It's like you said, it's not segmented by each school competing against each other.
Well, in the beginning it was. We actually each school, but when our numbers were down,
you kind of
just kind of went the beach against the in-town kids. It's kind of what we've done because the numbers have been so low. The goal is to get back up where we've got 20 or so kids from each school so that we can actually, when we have our county championship meet, we actually have, Mowat, Merritt Brown, Bayhaven schools, Surfside, that sort of thing, competing against each other. I think we might have always combined Surfside and Breakfast Point. I'm not sure if we did or not.
I think there might have been one year we separated them. But back then, that was when the beach was so small.
Yeah.
As compared to in town.
Yeah. But our ultimate goal is to get those numbers back up so we can compete that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
And one of the things that I always found fun about it, the kids who are coming in for the first time is, they're going to be competing against kids who've done this for years and years and years, but it's not just about individual competition because swimming is also a team sport. And so a lot of times there would be relays to where you could get to be on a relay with, somebody who's the best swimmer in town. Yeah. And you end up making friends at school out of this thing. It might be somebody, especially in one of the bigger middle schools, you don't necessarily know them or they're a grade ahead of you or something, but you're on a county champion winning relay with them. And I mean, it develops kind of a friendship for life out of the deal. It was always fun to be around that middle school environment for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And like we talk about here on the Inside Drive with all the middle school sports is we have to have participation. We have to have great coaches and develop kids so that we continue to make our high school programs across the board better and better and better. Because, it obviously starts in the rec and the first introduction to stuff, bleeds up through middle school. And that's why I think Josh Latch has done such a great job with middle school sports as of late to kind of focus on them. I mean, heck, championship in boys basketball and girls soccer was both live streamed on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fantastic stuff and gets you excited. So if kids out there want to sign up to be a part of the middle school swim team or the Panama City swim is the Panama City swim team?
Well, for now it's Panama City swim team. Okay. I think we're changing our name to Cat 5 Aquatics to kind of incorporate, because we're Panama City Beach, Panama City, Lynn Haven, Mexico.
Yeah,
beach.
just Bay County essentially.
Yeah, so we've got that going on. I'm not sure when that transpires, but for right now, Panama City swim team, and you can go on the website and hit the middle school swim button and register and show up for practice.
That's it. And I love it. I love what you guys talk about too. Like, this isn't like you don't have to be a swimmer that's been swimming competitively for their entire life growing up. That you could just be someone who knows how to swim but wants to get into competition. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys are the ones that provide all the tools for them to get better and better and better.
It's such a great introduction's literally the right word. It's such a great introduction to what competitive swimming is. It's a great opportunity to just see what it is and find out, because it's not like football where you have to order all these pads and everything like that. You need a suit and some goggles, really. We'll take care of the rest.
Suit and goggles, we'll supply the swim cap. You're ready to go.
And you get to see what it's like and enjoy, competing, and it's so much fun. And I mean, what's better to do around here than be in the water this time of year?
Absolutely.
And just a FYI for all the young men out there that are worried they're going to have to wear a Speedo brief, we do have a suit called Jammers, and it goes down to the knees. A lot of times the kids go, well, I want to swim, but I don't want to wear that suit. No problem. We have Jammers, which go down to your knees, so you don't have to wear a brief.
Well, hey, there has been nothing that has boosted the number of men in the sport like that.
Yes.
The advent of the Jammer, I mean, it really
bunch of insecure people. Come on, 100%. Guys. Just put on the Speedo. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
No, I mean, but Steve's right. It absolutely, and it can be a thing, but I'm telling you, they will have so much fun. And it is such a great program. Obviously, I was involved in it for years, but it is something I believe really strongly in. Steve does a wonderful job. What he said earlier is true, too. The high school kids help out.
Yes.
And
That's
I mean,
awesome.
there's levels of hero worship in that are so cool, because you're literally seeing kind of the best teenagers in this area.
Right.
And they're so excited. They're more excited when a kid they're helping coach, whether it be with middle school swimming or in the Summer Splashes program that PCSD runs. They're more exciting when those kids learn something new than when they do something.
Oh, they
big.
are. They love
and they're
it.
such great mentors for these kids. I would fully recommend this program.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Well, Steve, we appreciate you coming in and talking a little middle school swimming with us. Again, you can just search up Panama City Swim Team, look for the registration button, click that, follow the prompts. 3 nights a week, either in town or on the beach. No reason why you can't do it. And of course, that may lead to, being a lifeguard or something like that
There
as
you
well.
go. We always need those.
Some potential future job opportunities if you can become a little bit better swimmer, and the Panama City Swim Team certainly will make that happen. Steve, again, we appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll keep promoting the swim for you guys for sure.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You guys listen to the Inside Drive. Coming up next, our Friday afternoon delight debrief. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Man, you took 3 months off, Brandon. I'm gonna tell you something.
When you're up on a high ladder doing pressure washing, it's a little more difficult to make a phone call than it is to sit at your desk while you're counting paper clips.
That man got a super soaker pressure washer, Paul.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For this afternoon and evening, some sun and a high of 75 with a moderate breeze around 15 miles per hour out of the south-southeast. Tonight, mostly clouds with lows around 67. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 75. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 74 and mostly cloudy and lightly sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida. War Eagle.
Do you hear a squealing sound when you're braking? How about a clunking when turning? Shaking while under acceleration? These are all problems that Alford Tire and Service Center in Callaway can solve. With our friendly staff and trusted mechanics, we here at Alford offer a wide variety of services to keep you on the road and driving, which comes back with our nationwide warranty and easy financing options. Located in beautiful Callaway on Central Parkway, we do it all at Alford Tire and Service Center.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can watch, listen, like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, please share our live shows. That means a lot to us, helping to get us out there to more of the social media world. If you don't follow us, all you got to do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. Again, that's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9 every day. Inside Drive from 11 to 1. Of course, the afternoon underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. We also appreciate Alan Watson and Golf Plus for being our new studio sponsor. Just makes perfect sense here with the Inside Drive being a golf-centric kind of show, and excited to have Alan on board. He's got 2 great shops. The one up there in Dothan off of Montgomery Highway in 231 has been around since, I think, 1988, which is pretty impressive stuff there, not just to be in business that long, but to be in business of golf, which is always tough because I know those margins on those golf clubs aren't very much, but they are indeed expensive. And then, of course, he's got the shop here at the Edgewater Shopping Plaza right next to Firefly. You can check them out for new clubs, used clubs, get yourself fit for fit your clubs that you have now, fit a new set of clubs, and you can even go there and just play for an hour on the simulator as well. Again, that's Golf Plus here in PCB and up there in Dothan. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. 104.3 is all you got to search up. It'll pop up. You can take us live wherever you go. You know, if you've usually got your phone, you're probably maybe in your car, but we're on the dial as well. But if you're not in your car and you have cell phone service, that's an easy way to listen live. We do a lot of contests through that app as well. You can also head over to ESPNPC.com. It was Lucid Streams TV. It's now Scorpion TV. You just got to watch out for that Scorpion, Brian. It'll get you, but it will save you lots of money on your streaming services that they keep going up and up and up. Even Netflix is going up. So if you want to save some money, again, head over to ESPNPC.com. You'll see that Scorpion TV logo right there at the top. Click on that. Follow the prompts. Use code ESPNNW, and it'll only cost you about $41.99 a month. And if you're wanting to watch baseball from wherever you may be from or wherever your favorite team is, Lucid Streams TV's got all your regional sports, local sports, and all that good stuff. And, of course, over 10,000 movies on demand as well. Scorpion TV, saving you money and bringing you anything you could possibly want to watch, including all the March Madness games. You can also catch those over most of the networks, even though they got some on True TV and TBS as well.
We actually have a bit of breaking news here that I just saw come across. The Memphis...
Breaking news.
I jumped the gun. Thank you, David. Memphis Grizzlies have fired head coach Taylor Jenkins, despite the team currently sitting in the number 5 spot in the Western Conference. He is also the Memphis Grizzlies' winningest head coach of all time. Don't know all the particulars on this other than they have lost 4 of their last 5, but Ja Morant's been out, so I don't really know on this one, but Taylor Jenkins has been fired as Grizzlies head coach.
Almost as bizarre as Nico getting rid of Luka Doncic and then the organization just completely going through a free fall over the last several weeks.
Hard to top that one, though.
That's going to go down as one of the craziest moves in sports history with all the repercussions that have happened after it. Glad to see that they were able to play a game earlier this week with getting Anthony Davis back out there. Otherwise, they didn't have enough players, and they might have had to forfeit a game, which you just don't ever hear about in professional sports.
Well, at least nobody was in the stands to watch it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They wouldn't have, the forfeit wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But anyway, I'm going to dive into some afternoon delight debriefs, and then we got Aaron Bearden coming up at 12:20, and we'll finish our show with a little local action, talk about the games one more time, and then give you guys a PGA Tour update in the 12:40 time slot. As guess what? Guess which name is at the top, Brian? Super obvious.
Oh, Scotty Scheffler?
Scotty Scheffler is at the top as he shot 67 in round 1, and he's currently 6 under through 15 holes on his second round today. But we'll dive more into that in our final segment. But I'm going to start with this one. A Flint woman, this was something you would typically hear out of Florida, but Flint woman suffers severe injuries in viral chlorine bomb prank gone wrong. I don't know why people just follow
Well, the water's been so bad in Flint, you know.
Yeah, they need a lot of chlorine.
They turned them all into Florida, man.
Yeah, that's
Makes
true.
sense.
That's true. Flint, Michigan, a 22-year-old Flint woman was left with permanent facial damage after a dangerous online prank went horribly wrong. Tanisha Walktaint was filming a chlorine bottle experiment for social media when an excessive amount of pool chlorine was added to a Coke bottle, causing an explosive reaction. According to witnesses, Walktaint was setting up the video outside her apartment complex when she poured too much chlorine into the bottle, triggering an immediate and violent explosion. The force of the blast sent the chemical-laced shrapnel flying, striking her directly in the face. She screamed, fell back, holding her face, said a neighbor saw who saw the incident. Her eyes were burning. Her skin was already peeling.
Yep.
Emergency responders arrived within several hours, and they transported Wak Taint to a local hospital where doctors confirmed she suffered extensive chemical burns and permanent damage to her eyes. Authorities warned that chlorine bombs and a reckless homemade explosive trend often showcased on social media can cause serious injuries, even fatalities. This is not a harmless prank, said Flint Fire Department spokesperson Marcus Ellison. These reactions are unpredictable and can cause life-altering harm in seconds. Wak Taint's family said she is recovering but faces a long road ahead. In a brief statement, her sister urged others not to attempt similar stunts. She didn't think it would be that serious, her sister said. Now she might ever be the same again.
I've spent my life around pool chemicals. I can tell you firsthand they are dangerous. You cannot mess around with them. I actually knocked myself out while mixing some muriatic acid. One time I leaned over too much and woke up looking at the sky. It's a wonder I didn't, hurt myself severely. Or maybe it explains why I'm like I am. Who knows? But yeah, it is nothing to play around with, and shocking. Another social media trend causes injury to someone who doesn't know better.
I don't know if Darwin knew social media was going to be around when he was
It's just accelerating Darwinism.
Yeah, the natural selection process has been increased a little bit faster over the creation
guys,
of
they're
social
chemicals.
media.
Chemicals are dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. But, just people, I don't get it. I don't get it, but it does go back to that Darwinism thing. Very, very odd. Here's one from Ohio. Ohio man thought he had secured a vacant lot at auction for just $5,000, intending to build his dream home. But here's the twist. He had unknowingly purchased the entire street, including multiple homes. Now the city wants it back, but legally, it's all his.
Oh, yes.
Similar cases have shaped property laws across the United States, and like this landmark 2006 Norwood versus Horney decision when the Ohio Supreme Court protected homeowners from eminent domain abuse. These names in these last two stories are killing me.
I thought it was from The Onion.
Oh, goodness. Under Ohio law, property owners must receive fair market value when government claims their land for public use. The Institute for Justice reports the eminent domain causes often disproportionately affect individual property owners who face challenges getting fair compensation from local government. I know there's some eminent domain stuff going on right here in Panama City Beach as we speak. But, good for him. Hopefully, sounds like that $5,000 investment's going to turn out pretty good for this particular gentleman up there in Ohio.
Be like that episode of Family Guy where Peter sets up his own country in the middle.
Utopia. Or whatever it was. That's right.
Oh, man.
Oh, goodness. Speaking of crazy and stupid stuff, pretty much, we think it's crazy over here in America. Go over to the UK for a couple weeks and see not only their laws are just completely crazy, but this one's another interesting one. 25-year-old Rhiannon Evans has pleaded guilty to the UK's first ever cyber farting case. Facing penalties after sending videos of herself farting to her boyfriend's ex, Evans allegedly caused distress or anxiety to the recipient with her messages. That's pretty much the gist of it.
I think Coach Brian Haddad again with the perfect summary there. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You choose to be offended. You choose to be disgusted. You choose to be whatever.
Every day.
I can't handle it.
She's...
what do I say, David?
The Titans stink.
Well, yeah, but
get
what
off
else
my
is-
lawn.
There we go. Okay.
Angry man shakes hand at cloud.
Absolutely. Oh, all right. We'll go into some not
cyber farting.
Didn't know it was a thing.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
There's some other cyber things that I think would be a little bit more gruesome, but it's not like you could see the fart.
If I knew how to use this fancy internet, I'd send one over to the UK myself.
The www. Oh, goodness. All right. Let's see. Let's pick a couple good ones here.
It's hard to follow.
That we kind of peaked early on this Friday's Afternoon Delight Debrief one. Let's see. This is an interesting one.
All right.
Man goes viral for mundane absurdity of fixing a McDonald's sign. Haven't read it yet, so I really don't know what that means. March 26th, the British man has become an unlikely hero on social media after he took it upon himself to repair a McDonald's restaurant sign that had become the object of curiosity for a Facebook group. The Dole Men's Club, if you don't follow that, that's a hilarious Facebook group as well, had garnered multiple posts about the sign at McDonald's at the White Rose Shopping Centre in Leeds, England, because the sign's D was missing inside, making it more of a silhouette than a letter. Steve Lovell took it upon himself to correct the issue and painstakingly researched McDonald's branding guidelines to allow him to correctly 3D print a filling for the D. Lovell said he ended up going through the process a second time when it turned out another McDonald's sign at the same location was suffering from the same mildly annoying problem. Lovell's posts about his fixes went viral on social media, making him a hero that many commenters joked made him too interesting to remain in the so-called Dole Men's Club. I think it's the whole pointlessness of this that caught people's attention, Lovell told the BBC. Not many people would notice a sign missing bits from it. Fewer still would be bothered by it, and practically no one would bother to spend time actually rectifying it.
It must not be a highly unionized job over there. I'm surprised he didn't get attacked for fixing it. You know?
No doubt.
Crazy.
Doubt.
Well, good for him, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeing an issue and fixing it, that's what we all should do.
That's what, everybody should do. Just kind of help out a little bit. March Napness bracket tracks hibernation habits of sanctuary bears. Like I said, we peaked a little early today on the afternoon play. An international animal welfare group announced the start of March Napness, a March Madness-style bracket tournament tracking when bears at sanctuaries across Europe will wake from hibernation. Four Paws, which operates animal sanctuaries across the world, kicked off the annual tournament with a bracket of 23 European brown bears living at 6 sanctuaries in Europe. Somebody must have got a first-round bye.
This sounds like something Doge would have found and cut funding for.
Yeah, if there was Doge over there in Europe, they may need it more than we do. Let's see. The sleepiest bear wins, Four Paws spokesperson Claire LaFrance told NPR. The bear that remains sleeping the longest is crowned king or queen for that year. LaFrance said a bear is kicked out of the bracket after waking from hibernation and still remaining active for at least 5 days. When animals, especially bears, hibernate, they can actually wake up from time to time, LaFrance said. They can wake up, they can get out of their den, and they can walk around, maybe have a snack, and then go back to sleep. The bears were all rescued from captivity and are unable to return to the wild. LaFrance said some of the bears are more reliant on humans than others. Some bears prefer to make their own dens, and some bears prefer that we provide them with the dens so they don't have to do any of the work. They're just like, thank you for my bed and good night, she said. LaFrance said March Napness is aimed at teaching the public about 2 subjects, bears conservation and the importance of rest. I think they can really bring back the movement that sleep is self-care and there's no harm in taking a little nap when you need it, LaFrance said. That's the end of that story. Nap time is a good thing, I guess, especially if you're a bear. Especially if you're a bear.
I knew that story was somehow going into somebody got eaten by a bear testing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But, who knows?
Not on this one, but, we...
The one I wish I had researched before, 2 minutes before the show, is this video that I saw pop up. Spring Breakers fail American history trivia. That I should have researched before this.
Yeah, to see what
that could have made some good answers.
And if Jay would have been here, we could have asked him those same questions. And I think he would have probably fell in line with the answers of the Spring Breakers. It is pretty wild how, some of these generations coming up just don't seem to know what formerly was known as common sense in a lot of this particular stuff. But yeah, that is, I may have to dive into what the questions and answers were and talk about it next week.
I will be fair for once in my life and say I think it would be just as entertaining to the youth to ask someone more my age and older, things that seem normal to them, like TikTok things and stuff like that, and
absolutely,
or as we say, the MySpace book or whatever, things like that. So
MySpace book.
I like how you're so up to date on all of these things.
Well,
MySpace book is booming.
I've had to hear people, talk about these my TikTok, X, Twitter, Insta things I don't know.
things.
I don't know what any of this junk is.
All right, here's kind of a feel-good story. A mini dachshund spotted 16 months after disappearance on Australian island. March 27th, a miniature dachshund who went missing while visiting South Australia's Kangaroo Island, the future home of David Hayes, with her owners, has been seen alive 16 months later.
Wow.
Georgia Gardner said her dog Valerie escaped from her pen at Stokes Bay campsite in November of 2023, and she and her partner, Josh Fishlock, spent a week searching the island with help from locals. They couldn't find any trace of Valerie, and the canine's fate was unknown until about a year after her disappearance, when sightings were reported on social media. Kangala Wildlife Rescue joined in the search for the missing miniature dachshund, and the group has now confirmed Valerie is indeed still alive and wandering the island. Based on first-hand accounts of video evidence, we now know that Valerie is alive, the rescue group said on social media. She runs at the first sight of human or vehicles, and despite the best efforts of dedicated island locals, Valerie has been impossible to catch. The group said Thursday its rescuers saw Valerie firsthand this week. Gardner said the confirmation of Valerie's survival is a very welcome surprise. It's been so crazy, even with the recent sightings, we're both just like, no, don't get your hopes up, she told the Australian Guardian. But, especially with the photograph we got sent and with the confidence in Kangala Wildlife Rescue, now we're starting to edge more like, okay, how are we going to get to this island if we have to pick her up? The search for Valerie is ongoing. The Kangala Wildlife Rescue said she was last seen about 9 miles from the campsite where she went missing.
That's a crazy story. I mean, just think about the resourcefulness just to survive that long, especially in Australia where everything there, it seems like, can kill you.
Yeah, the most deadly snakes, poisonous spiders, all that stuff.
But we had a Dachshund when I was in high school and beyond. One of my favorite dogs I've ever been around. They're crazy, and they're very territorial.
Yep.
But golly, the coolest dogs in the world.
Absolutely. We've had a few stories of dogs that went missing somewhere and then showed back up hundreds of miles away.
Oh, my God,
stuff like that.
It's amazing.
They have a pretty impressive instinct to, one, find where they came from, and two, like you said, survive.
Yeah, that's unreal. You wonder though, did it pal up with a gang of kangaroos?
That's what I thought. That's where I thought
they found
the story
it in a
was
pouch?
going. Yeah, like it was in the Joey pouch, and yeah. But David Hayes, there's an island called Kangaroo Island.
Yeah, I'm going to take that over, as you mentioned, probably 2036, the same year that Jim Nantz is planning to call his final Masters.
That's right.
Yeah, then we'll merge with Pretoria from Peter Griffin.
And then you just, to say to all your kangaroos, you go, hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
You know, I actually saw the Nantz story, and I thought it was so cool because not only will that be the 100th Masters that he wants to do it for, his first Masters, 86, probably the greatest Masters ever.
Yep.
Certainly, the back nine on Sunday was unbelievable.
He started very, very high up in the Masters
Wasn't it
tournament.
Venturi or somebody that said, don't expect them all to be like this?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Jack Nicklaus is back.
What a
nine
career,
that year.
and he's perfect for the Masters.
He's got
perfect.
He's got the best lines, the tone, all that particular stuff. But yeah, hanging it up, that'd be what, 86 to 36, 50 years.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing anything for 50 years, let alone calling them. But again,
I'm hoping to live to 50.
You'll be all right.
But I mean, even his second one that he called was Mises Chipping.
Yeah.
I mean, good gracious.
I mean, all the moments that he's going to make a heck of a documentary one day.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt about that. All right. We'll save some of these for next week. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we'll be joined by Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports Cards. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
He touched my hair. He hits my hair.
I'm a basketball too. Ever since I was a little baby, I always be dribbling. In fact, I was the baddest dribbler in the whole neighborhood.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Friday's weather forecast. Partly sunny the remainder of the day with temps near 75 and a wind 13 to 17 miles per hour. Mostly clouds tonight, a gentle breeze and a temperature of 67. About the same tomorrow, around 75 with mostly clouds. A mixture of mostly clouds and light showers Sunday and hot around 74. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
Introducing Southern Breeze Primary Care. With 45 years of experience, owners Holly Gay and Lisa King bring warm, friendly care, Southern charm, and a family vibe. They are the pros in youth sports, physicals, general health care, BioT hormone replacement therapy, certified DOT exams, and Coast Guard physicals. Southern Breeze, 107 West 19th Street, Suite B, 850-248-8002. Walk-ins are welcome and insurance is accepted but not required. Southern Breeze offers breezy solutions for your healthcare needs.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. We're betting the limit and covering the spread. The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. Listen to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Friday, our 1220 segment, and that only means one thing. We've got Aaron Bearden on the line from Instant Replay Sports Cards down there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza. I guess over there, because down there would be out in the Gulf of America. But he's over there to the east of us, right there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza, but next to Sweet Frog Creamery and Academy Sports and Outdoors. Aaron, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Doing wonderful. The promo of Jay and Ryan's going to have to be changed because typically he's only joining me on Fridays, just not this Friday. He'll be back next Friday now because, I get it. He's got to make money. If he's not on the lesson tee, he's not making money. So I know he's been capitalizing on the really nice weather and getting some stuff done. All right, Aaron, we'll jump right into it. I know baseball season is underway. What kind of new releases have come into the shop recently?
So far this week alone, we had Topps Celebration, which is kind of cool, sort of a blending of Topps Series 1 and Topps Big League, which is a kid-centered product.
Gotcha.
Celebration's a lot of fun, a lot of cool inserts in every pack, and they're throwing in like some mascots and just a lot of fun things, as well as, Heritage High Number came out, which is kind of cool. For those of you that don't know Heritage baseball cards, it's a Topps product. It mimics a set they started about 24 years ago, putting modern players on a 52 Topps card design. That was their first year. Next year is 53, 54. We're up to 1975 for 2024. So this is the high number update. You used to like the traded sets and all that. At the end of the year, the players who've been in a new uniform or got called up late, they're going to go in this high number product. The thing is, since it mimics sets from back then, Topps didn't do a high number set for 1975. So a lot of the heritage collectors just kept on with Topps. Hey, when's high number coming out? When's high number coming out? Well, it really wasn't going to, I think. So they put together this product. It's very, very limited, really kind of hard to find. And but it's loaded with last year's rookies with, Paul Skeens and Ellie De La Cruz and just all those guys, all those Texas guys, Carter and Langford and all. So, it's a really, really loaded product this year that they're putting out. That maybe the last year we get a Heritage High Number for a while.
So jump on it and head on down to Instant Replay and pick yourself up some Heritage baseball cards. I also saw last Friday, I think it was probably after our show was over, that you got some Leaf Eclectic Football, the 2024s. Talk about, I never heard of the Eclectic product.
Yeah. So it's something companies are starting to do rather than make, 50 different products a year, is take some of those designs and throw them in a blender and come out with a product that features 5 or 6 different designs together at one time. So Panini kind of kicked this off with Chronicles several years back. Topps got into it last year with their Composite Football, which had 4 or 5 different quote unquote brands of football inside it. They were all Topps releases, and now Leaf's doing the same. So if you've done Leaf Metal or Trinity, Valiant, etc., all those different Leaf things. Well, now quite a few of them are mixed together in Leaf Eclectic. So it's a lot of fun because you really don't know what design of card you're going to get when you open the box. There'll be several different types of cards in one box.
Yeah, and one of the things, it just seems, I don't know, all the Leaf products in recent time. You still there? You hear me?
Yeah, it was coming and going there for a second. Thought I was at the drive-thru.
There you go. The old drive-thru, drive-in with the roller skates, like the good old days. I saw some of the ones that you posted online. Just it seems like there's a lot of opportunities for some really cool autographs and some autograph pairs as well across all those Leaf products.
Yeah, they're getting really interesting over there at Leaf with some of the multi-autos that they're offering, not just in football, just across all the sports. So we had a Paul Skeens, Nolan Ryan dual autograph pulled. Ooh. We've had Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams dual, and some of their other sports. Just it really gets clever and creative and very fun. They did a multi-sport product at Christmas time that had some Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky dual autos in there. So Leaf is really kind of pushing the envelope when it comes to giving you good name autos in very affordable products.
Yeah, that's one thing I've certainly noticed about Leaf is that the pricing is much, much lower or affordable than some of the other ones. Now, are they doing that to kind of try to compete with the other brands, especially now that Fanatics owns so many of the companies now?
Yeah, it's one strategy they've got is to sort of cut out the cost of printing all those base cards that, frankly, a lot of people don't really want to begin with. Very few people are putting sets together now of say 20, 25 cards. So Leaf's just going for, hey, we'll give you 5 or 6 autographs in a box, maybe 1 or 2 numbered cards, but we'll leave it at that. We're not going to give you 300 cards that you'll just throw away.
Yep.
So it saves them on the printing cost and thus keeps the cost of the product down.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're trying to get some licenses and, tap into some markets that Fanatics and some of the others haven't hit yet. Certainly. Leaf, it may seem silly to people, some of the things they've gone after. Like, I believe they just announced they've gotten a license for the professional bull riding cards.
The old PBR.
They've got the Power Slap League.
I've seen that. That would be absolutely terrible. That gives me a headache thinking about it.
Yeah. But part of it is they're going after things that are still out there on the market. And, if one of those sports takes off and catches on, they're going to be the people holding the license for it. So it makes sense from a business perspective. Yeah. I get, some of those things aren't as big as the NBA or NFL right now. They may never be. But, this is how you do it. You buy the stocks when they're cheap, and you take a chance on that company. You don't wait
your
till
Apple stock
releases.
when it first started, and now you're sitting on a bunch of cash.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, don't wait till the iPhone 16 comes out and go, hey, I think that company's got a future.
Yeah, I think they've done pretty well, no doubt about that. I saw you've got a new event coming up tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. That is the a Pokemon night, correct?
First Saturday of each month, yes.
Okay.
So it'll be next Saturday, I believe.
Gotcha. So I meant to say the pre-release tournament on Sunday, this Sunday coming up, not Saturday. It looks like it starts at 5.
That was last Sunday.
Oh, that was last Sunday,
the 23rd.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, how'd that go?
We did it really, really well. It was our first pre-release tournament for Pokemon, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great chance for people to come and actually play, who like to play the game. And you know what? I get, we're in this buying and selling business, but I think a lot of the Pokemon collectors will agree. There's a lot of people who are just in it to buy and sell stuff and try to make themselves a middleman and make a bunch of money, who have no real interest in the game. So it's a great way for people who really do like to play the game to come in and play and get some of the new cards before they release. And, Pokemon made some of that stuff available to us at a really good price, where we could get it to them. It's kind of a reward for saying, hey, thank you for actually playing the game and coming and supporting a local shop.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Speaking of, today is release day for that Pokemon set, Journey Together.
Ooh.
So it's been a hot one already the last 90 minutes that we've been open.
People have been jumping in and getting them, huh?
Yeah. Hopefully a little safer and all that than the last set where, we all saw those videos of people fighting in the big retail stores and all. We don't want any of that.
No.
But
keep
but it's going to be a popular set. So yeah, people have been coming in grabbing that. Unfortunately, Pokemon did not get all of it printed on time, so they do their thing. Rather than give each distributor who carries it, say half of their order, certain distributors, I guess, got their product. Certain distributors did not get their product. Is what that is the word around the industry.
Gotcha.
So I know one of our suppliers, they're waiting on their product to come in. So it is very limited right now. We're hearing that by middle of next week, we should have more of it.
Very
but definitely, if you want some, come on down and get it while it is still available.
Absolutely. Head on down right now if you're drop what you're doing and head over to Instant Replay Sports Cards. All right, just a couple different types of questions for you, Aaron. What are some of the red flags to watch out for when buying and selling cards?
So really good. People ask that a lot about buying cards, what to look for. Part of it is, know who you're buying from. And even outside of in person, if you're buying online, if you're buying on eBay, look at somebody's feedback. Look at their other items. If they've got something up there that kind of looks like it's too good to be true, look at what else they've sold.
Yeah.
If it's some super rare card and they're like, hey, my grandpa passed away and we found his Mickey Mantle rookie card, and, I don't know a lot about cards, I'm just going to sell it right now. Look at their feedback. If they've sold 6 or 7 other Mickey Mantle rookie cards, allegedly, then, it's probably not on the up and up. And there are sellers like that. They're counting on people not doing their research, and they'll use those same kind of stories over and over. And before you know it, you've got stuck with, you're like, hey, I spent $100 thinking this card might be worth $50,000. Had to take a chance before somebody else got it, and essentially you've just bought a counterfeit that somebody printed out. So that's something to watch for. If you're buying in person, know who you're buying from. If you're at a shop, talk to the people. Ask them how long they've been in business. What do they know about the cards? Are they able to actually buy from the manufacturers? There are a lot of fly-by-night card shops that pop open that none of the manufacturers want to deal with because they kind of see the shady reputations there. They do background checks and stuff. They know who they're dealing with. They know who they want carrying their products. So, yeah, just do some research like that. Now, as far as selling, it kind of goes the same way. And what I mean is, if you're going to sell to a shop, kind of know what your card is worth, because shops will try to kind of razzle-dazzle people and be like, oh, we'll pay more than anybody else. We'll pay you 80% of what your card is worth. Okay, that sounds great. That's also a really ridiculous amount, because you wouldn't put 80% in your pocket if you sold it yourself on eBay after their fees and all that.
Yeah.
So that's a red flag, first of all. If they're willing to pay you more than what it's worth, but then if they tell you they'll pay you 80%, but they're going to tell you your card is only worth $50,
and
they'll pay you 80% of that. Yeah, and some other shop goes, you know what, this is really a $100 card, and we pay 60%. Well, you're going to get more out of that, even though it sounds like a lower percentage. But those first people know if they can tell you a high percentage and then kind of dog your card down and not be honest about it, they're getting your card for less money.
Yeah.
And, we've seen that quite a bit over the years.
Absolutely.
So definitely know what you've got.
Yeah, know what you got, and when there's money involved, there's always people out there that are going to try to screw you over one way or the other. All right, another kind of different question for you. Do you see a difference between collectors and investors in this particular hobby?
Oh, big time. Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of a spectrum. So there are people that are in this just to get rich, that think of it the way, maybe one of us, or maybe we got an uncle or something who, like, always when they get gas, they stop and buy a lottery ticket at the gas station or something, and it's just kind of something. Yeah. And so you have people who are like, I got to come in and buy a box of that new product, and maybe I'll hit a big card and make a little something. They're really not that into the collecting. We have people like that. It's great. As I say, it takes all kinds.
Yeah.
And then you have people who are just into what they're into. They don't care that on the news, there's some card people are chasing that's worth $3 million, whatever. They're collecting what they like, their team, their player, etc. and they don't get swayed by that. And the great thing is, you got to have those people, because sometimes they'll buy the cards that aren't hot because the card means something to them. So, yeah, there's a huge difference between, say your long-term collectors, your people that are actually investing, that are buying, say, certain key rookie cards. They're coming in and going, I want to load my collection up with, say, Shohei Ohtani rookies and Aaron Judge rookies, or, Patrick Mahomes rookies, something like that, because they're thinking of what are those cards going to be worth in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, kind of some, I may have asked some of these before, but kind of some personal questions. Do you have a personal collection, or do you mainly just deal with the transactions of cards at the shop?
I have very little in my personal collection, to be honest. I have a little safe with some cards in it at home that I don't keep at the shop that are higher end. And some of those are in there because I really like them, and some of them just because I don't leave them at the shop, but they are kind of for sale. My personal interest in collecting, because we've done this for so long, I've gone past, dollar amount, and I'm looking at things that are of interest to me because of, say, the player or the card itself, something along those lines. I really like the guys who are characters, particularly in baseball. Baseball lends itself to all those really fun, zany stories. So guys like Doc Ellis, or Mark Fidrich, the Bird. People like that. To me, that's sort of fun to collect, and also because their cards aren't hugely in demand. I know if I purchase them, I don't feel like, I really have to put this in the shop and sell it. If I got a really cool card of, like, Ken Griffey Jr. or Michael Jordan, like, that probably needs to go in a display case to be sold. That's probably not something I can justify just hanging on to. But some of those other guys, it's like, that's my thing to collect. That's not what 99% of the collectors are after.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so cool, is you can have your own personal style and what you're looking for and what you're doing. And if it's not tied to big dollars, it can be a lot of fun. All right, specifically talking about the shop, what's the craziest or funniest experience that you've had in the shop? Not necessarily the craziest card, because I think we've asked you that before, but maybe something experience-wise that was just absolutely off the wall or real funny, if something comes to mind.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, oh man, all the time. I'll tell you one that just happened within the last hour, and I don't know the full story here. Yeah, I don't know the full story here. I'm not trying to, demean or anything like that. But I was sitting here in the office. I was packaging some things up that we had to ship out, and I was watching a camera out front just to see if a lot of people come in the shop. I'll go out front and help. And a lady walks in the door. Car pulls up out in front of her door. A lady walks in. She takes like 2 steps in, gives a quick look. She walks back out the door. And I was like, okay, did she walk in the wrong shop by mistake? Did she think we were our neighbors or something? So then she goes out to this car, and she opens up the trunk, and she pulls like 3 full garbage bags, I guess. That's what they look like, the large white garbage bags. And she and another lady come bringing these garbage bags in. And they walk about 4 steps into the shop. They both look around, and then they turn around and walk back out the door with their garbage bags, put them back in the trunk of the car, close it, and drive away.
That is interesting. I thought you were going to keep the second part of the story is they dropped the garbage bags and left, but that'd make me a little nervous. But yeah, that's
I don't know the story there. That is, that's one of the more unusual things. And like I say, it just happened.
Yeah.
I would love to know. I don't know. Maybe sometimes people come in and they're looking for us, and they walk in and they still don't get it. They will literally walk in. Well, you've been in the shop. You've seen it's a card shop.
Yep.
They'll walk halfway in and they'll be like, "Is this the place that sells baseball cards?" I'm like, yeah. On a good day, yes.
Amongst other things as well.
We aim to.
Yeah. That's kind of the goal, right? Keeps you guys going.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. That's wild that just happened. I'm probably going to continue to ask that question, each time we talk on the phone on Fridays, because I'd love to hear about some of the stuff that happens.
Yeah, between this and like doing shows for so long, we've been doing shows since the 80s. And card shows they used to be really wild because most of them were in like shopping malls. And there were 3 days, and you were just planted, like they put your table in front of a store, and you're there for 3 solid days just, staring at that storefront. And the people that would come by and the things you would see happen in the malls and stuff like that. It's weird. It's strange, and after a while, you get where you see patterns in every mall in America, and it's bizarre. It's a weird little almost like a carny kind of life of traveling from town to town and doing those things.
Oh, goodness. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Aaron, as I always ask you when we close our interviews on Friday, what's coming up tonight and tomorrow?
Tonight, we got that kids club, 6 p.m. Have those kids here at 6. Last week, we had more kids than could even participate, and it was great, but, man, within 2-3 minutes, it was filled up. Kids were breaking boxes. They were opening packs. They were trading with each other. It was awesome. And unfortunately, some of the kids that came in later kind of missed out a little bit. So I say be here, ready to go at 6 o'clock. Kids have a ton of fun with that. Get to hang out with other kids that like to collect and trade cards. And it's just a really cool, family-friendly atmosphere. Tomorrow, we got those breaks at 12 o'clock, hobby boxes. Mostly it's adults doing it. Kids are certainly welcome. It's just a little pricier. But it's a great way to see a lot of the new product, maybe get in on the ones that you're interested in, hang back and watch the ones that maybe have your interest but you can't commit to just yet. No problem with that. And, next week we got the Pokemon Trade Night. So a lot of stuff going on.
Absolutely. Get over there and check out Instant Replay Sports Cards. Lots of new stuff in the shop. Lots of events to attend. Go see them down there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza. Aaron, we appreciate your time as always, and I look forward to talking to you next week.
Absolutely. You guys take care. Everybody out there, be safe. Come check us out. Instant Replay.
There you go. Aaron Beerman with Instant Replay Sports Cards. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, our final segment of this week and Friday as we get you ready for the NCAA second half of the Sweet 16 bracket. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Auburn fans, let's hear it.
This is an open three.
You've earned this one.
And he knocked it down.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your spot for the SEC champion Auburn Tigers. Congratulations to Coach Pearl and the Auburn Tigers for a historic season. And we're not done yet. The madness is just starting. Listen to the Tigers plow through the tournament right here. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Introducing Water Clear Pools, the home of the 10-week pool guarantee. We guarantee custom pool completion from permit to your first swim in 10 weeks or less. Water Clear Pools is the premier pool builder for the Margaritaville development on Highway 79. Free quotes and custom pools anywhere in Northwest Florida. Call now, 850-835-4177, or see our website, waterclearpool.com. Licensed and insured. License number CPC 1459723.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Stow Bros Self-Storage, offering convenient, clean, and affordable storage for all your needs. Secure your items hassle-free with excellent customer service. Simply go to www.stowbros.com now to reserve your unit today, or call us at 850-250-4414. That's 850-250-4414. Stow Bros Self-Storage at 2726 East 15th Street for local service that can't be beat. Give us a call or rent storage online today at stowbros.com.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus studios, it's the Inside Drive. From the fairway to the rough.
I was hoping to squeeze in 9 holes before this rain starts.
From the greens to the bunker.
Certainly, Your Eminency.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
The good Lord would never disrupt the best game of my life.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's this one called?
The OG.
Ooh, the OG.
It's a good one, right?
I heard one that James played the other day when I was listening to it. I know you asked him what it was called, and I think it was like Overtime something or something like that. It's kind of a fun one.
Oh, let's see here.
I should be able to remember, but I can't remember worth crap anymore. Guess I'm just getting up there, Brian.
Oh, Game Day Defense.
Game Day Defense. That's it. All right, grab a seat. I feel like I'm watching, what was that movie, Stomp? I think it was a Broadway.
Stomp the Yard or something like that?
Or where they used like the trash cans and they were stomping their feet and the brooms and all that. That's kind of what that one felt like a little bit.
So in the break, I was watching the video I was telling you about
Yes,
the spring breakers
who know
asking
absolutely nothing.
questions.
Yeah.
And they said, name 3 states that border Canada, and the answer was Asia.
Yes, all the way across the other side of the
Okay,
globe.
her major was elementary education, so we're not in any danger at all.
That's who's
They're saying that's the correct answer is a continent?
No, that's their answer.
Okay, gotcha.
Liam, I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you name 3 states that border Canada?
Hold on.
What?
Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
it means.
that's right.
Yes, touching it.
Is North Dakota?
That's a good
That's
one.
one. Yep.
Maine? Is Maine touching it, or is it off to the side?
That one I'm not sure about.
I don't know if it's touching or not.
I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. You're
Michigan? Is Michigan touching?
Michigan does touch Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see if Maine counts.
Maine does count.
Okay.
Hey, all
there you
right.
go.
There
Ding,
you
ding,
go.
ding, ding,
Good
ding.
job. Good
You were
job.
smarter
13
than a
of them.
spring breaker.
I don't know. Smarter than a spring break. That would be fun to go out there and do.
Well, it'd be fun to have Jay come on and ask these questions.
Are you
'cause-
smarter than a J? Yeah, Maine does.
Yeah.
Right near New Brunswick.
There you go. Providence up there in Canada.
13 of them.
Yeah, 13 of them.
I mean, I got 3.
Yeah, you just got to kind of go across the top, right, from west to east, starting with
I only have all
Washington.
of them. Oh, yeah, Washington does.
Washington, Montana.
So does Idaho, actually.
North Dakota.
Washington.
Yeah, its little point.
We have Washington, Idaho, well, and technically Alaska.
Yeah, of course.
But we have Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota. Wisconsin is iffy.
Okay,
because I don't know that it does not actually touch. So Wisconsin
Minnesota's
is
got
out.
like a little point that goes over top of it. Is that what it is?
Michigan, because of the Upper Peninsula, I think is covered.
Gotcha. So Michigan borders, or
I don't know. Wisconsin, I may need a ruling on Wisconsin. New York.
Yes, New York.
Vermont,
absolutely.
New Hampshire, and Maine.
Yeah, there you go.
There you
Good
go.
stuff. Good stuff. And you just never know.
But
You never know.
apparently not
People-
Asia,
No, not at all. I don't even know where that comes from.
which is also no longer a state, I hear. So
They opted out of being a state quite some time ago, as far as I'm concerned. Now
That's
they're
why we're looking at Canada for 51 because they dropped out.
Yeah,
we
Asia dropped
we
out.
lost that in the Civil War, which was also a question: which side won the Civil War? And
Yeah.
a guy asked, "Was that was East versus West?" Right?
Yeah, I was about to say, what they say, East versus West.
Yeah, that was the battle for the Mississippi River.
What are they learning these days?
Or those, I mean, apparently nothing. Apparently, I feel like nowadays, like
TikTok dances, baby.
that's it. TikTok dances and strawberry cheesecake vapes. That's the way to the world.
I can't hear you guys besides.
I might have turned down.
Well,
Is
lucky
that better?
you don't have to hear us.
You can hear us now.
babbling, so
Okay,
it's good.
cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you have halfway decent education, you're going to be so far ahead of a lot of people coming up in this day and age. Just wild times we certainly live in.
Probably name every question that they said.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Your trivia record against Jay on the show is pretty strong. But again, I don't know how big of a
Where are we
barometer
setting that bar?
that barometer is. All right, real quick, just dropping through the top 10 of the leaderboard of the Texas Children's Houston Open. Of course, Scotty Scheffler still at the lead as he is currently 8 under par, and with that being a par 70, if he finishes his round with a par on his last hole, that'd be a nice 62 in the second round there for Scheffler, getting a nice little warm-up for the Masters tournament, which is in 2 weeks. But as we talked about on Wednesday, this golf course, much more of a good warm-up for Augusta National than next week at the Valero Texas Open. Taylor Pendrith is tied second at 9 under par. Jackson Suber is -8. Keith Mitchell and Romus Hogard, that's the brother of Nikolai Hogard, are both at -7, as well as Eric Cole. Kevin Yu, -6. Nice to see Gary Woodland up there in the top 10. He is currently 6 under par with Adam Svensson, Taylor Dixon, and Victor Perez, and a host of other people at 5 under par. Tony Finau at 5 under par as well. We talked about him as a good bet potentially for this particular tournament. But again, that's the Texas Children's Houston Open. I still know it as the Shell Houston Open from, quote unquote, back in the day. All right, Liam, you ready to pick some games?
Yep.
We're going to go against the spread, all right? We've already kind of talked about it, but this will be an official pick. I'm going to keep track of it. So our first game coming up tonight, the 6:09 game, is going to be Ole Miss and Michigan State. Ole Miss, the 6 seed, Michigan State, the 2 seed. Michigan State is currently a 3.5-point favorite. Again, we're picking against the spread. Liam, who are you going with? Michigan State to cover or Ole Miss with the points?
What?
You know this. Michigan State is minus 3.5 against Ole Miss. Would you take them giving up 3.5, or would you take Ole Miss getting 3.5? So if Ole Miss scores 80 points and Michigan scores 82, Ole Miss would cover that bet. You basically just add that spread to it. Have we not got into spreads yet? That's good. I'm not as bad of a father as I thought I was.
I was going to say, that's a badge for you.
Yeah. Like, you're betting with DFS and fantasy sports and all that is pretty good.
Saying,
CD Uncle Brian over here can teach you that later.
CD Uncle Brian sitting over there in the recliner.
If they're like...
Go ahead. You can ask.
No.
Basically, Michigan State would have to win by more than 3.5.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You said it.
I said it too confusing.
No,
yeah.
I thought of...
You're fine. All right. Who are you going with? Michigan State or Ole Miss?
Michigan State.
All right.
There you go.
MSU. David?
Sparty.
All right, Brian?
I got Sparty covering
I was going to say, you can't go Ole Miss in
That's
this one. I'll go against the grain. I'll take Ole Miss, even though I really think Michigan State's going to win by more than 3.5. But for this purpose, I'll go with Ole Miss. All right, next, Liam, we got Kentucky and Tennessee. That's the 3 seed versus the 2 seed. As we mentioned earlier, Tennessee has played Kentucky 2 times already this season, and Kentucky has been victorious in both of them. Can Tennessee do it again? Can they cover the 4.5 points that they're giving up to Kentucky, or will Kentucky win with the 4.5 points?
Tennessee.
Ooh, Tennessee. You always tell a little joke with Tennessee, too, right? I'm not trying to embarrass you.
No.
But I am.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I've heard you say it. David, do you know the joke?
You're the only 10 I see.
Bingo. That is it. All right, so you're going with Tennessee.
I have jokes about Tennessee, but I can't tell any of them on the air.
Yeah, those might offend the Tennessee people out there. All right, so minus 4.5. You've got Tennessee. David Hayes?
Oh, man, I can't remember what I took earlier.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
Just pull a hail. Take both sides.
Right. I'll take Kentucky and Tennessee. Oh, here's the bet. I'll take Tennessee to cover the 4.5.
All right. I like it. Brian?
I have Tennessee winning the ball game, but not covering. So I'm going to take Kentucky in the points.
Okay, absolutely. I'm going to take Kentucky in the points as well. I think Kentucky's going to try to make it 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 3 this season, and kind of Mark Pope proving that he can coach well as well with the big blue blood in Kentucky. All right, next one. I think this one's actually moved a 0.5 point since we last talked about that, and that is Auburn and Michigan. Auburn went from 8.5-point favorite to now a 9.5 point.
Really?
Favorite. Yes.
Wow.
Real quick, though, before we finish up with that, some breaking news.
Yeah.
It looks like...
prime time.
Yeah. Do you have it right there, David?
I don't have any of the actual details.
Because when you
headline,
click on it, it goes to a different story. I hate when it does that.
Well, Colorado's giving Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, a new contract, and that will make him among the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football. Yeah. So he's got to be somewhere around the $9 million, $10 million mark.
Yeah. I think it's a smart move by Colorado. Obviously, he's brought so much attention. The enrollment's gone through the roof. The amount of money he's brought to that university.
Business.
He's going to be somewhere else probably next year after this year if Colorado has success. What do y'all think about that?
Him having success or not?
Well, no, him being somewhere else.
Oh. I don't know. He kind of seems at home.
I think
that's what they said at Jackson State too, though.
Yeah, but Jackson. And no offense to Jackson State, but Jackson State versus Colorado, and obviously what he's been able to do.
Colorado versus name another school.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah. All right. So we got, what do we have there? We're up to Auburn and Michigan. Like I said, the line has moved from 8.5 to 9. Liam, Michigan getting 9 or Auburn giving up 9?
I don't know what you're saying.
Do you think Auburn will win by more than 9 points?
I think they're going to win, but not by 9.
Okay, that's the exact sentiment that I have. So you're taking Michigan plus 9. You're not picking Michigan to win. You're just picking Michigan with those 9 points. So if Michigan loses 75-80, your bet covers. All right, and I'm going with the exact same thing. I'll just say that right now.
Echoing that as well, Coach.
So Michigan across the board.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't like Auburn covering at 8.5. I sure don't at 9.5.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Auburn will win.
Yeah. Last but not least, Purdue and Houston. Same line there, still 8.5 points that Houston is giving up to Purdue. Brian, why don't you go first on this?
Same thing. I think Houston will win, but not cover. I think this is going to be a tighter game, and this was the one game where I had the over earlier. So,
yeah,
133.5. Yes, that's a low number. I don't care what two teams are playing.
I think that one's actually moved up a point.
Yeah. So. Gotcha. Let's see. What did I get it at? It was 133 when I bet it. Okay. So it's gone up at least on Hard Rock.
That's right. That's right.
At least on Hard Rock. All right, David, what do you got?
I'll also take the Boilermakers with the points.
Okay. You think Houston's going to beat Purdue by more than 8.5?
Yes.
All right. You going with the Cougs, huh?
Let's go little Zach.
I'm going to go with Houston as well. I think there's going to be one blowout in this, and blowout, more than 10 points, and I think that's the game that has the best opportunity for that to be the case. Hopefully, it might be Auburn too, but that's for different reasons. So I'll go with the Houston Cougars as well. Brian, appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you getting Steve to come in and talk a little swimming with us. Just a reminder, your afternoon underdogs coming up from 4 to 6 p.m. Following the afternoon underdogs, we jump right into the NCAA Sweet 16 coverage, starting with Michigan State and Ole Miss at 6:09 p.m. tip-off, followed by Tennessee and Kentucky. And I know we kind of bounce back and forth, right, between the two games when it's live on there.
They really try to stay on that first game until getting close to halftime. Then they'll go to the second game, and then, just kind of follow whatever's got the hottest action.
Same thing with Auburn and Michigan. And,
you'll get a large dose of the Auburn Michigan game.
Absolutely. Very cool. The Auburn-Michigan game tips off at 8:39, give or take a few minutes, depending on when the first game finishes up. If it takes a little longer, then the tip-off might be delayed. And, of course, the nightcap, Houston and Purdue at 9:09. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Next week, we'll be back to a full week here on the Inside Drive. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Have a great weekend. Get out there and enjoy this beautiful weather, and we'll see you next week.
Go Tigers.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all